No one chooses to be born poor. Nobody chooses to be born low caste. And India, very often, nobody chooses to be born a girl. And a combination of these three things very often take away many of our choices. And so therefore, when women say they choose to be sex workers, it's because they don't have any other choices. It's a survival strategy. And what Apne Aap, my organization, and I are advocating for is that women have to be entitled to many more choices, just like their brothers or their husbands or their fathers. So they have to have the same access to jobs, they have to have the same access to land and livelihoods and savings and education that men in their society do, so that they can exercise an equal choice. The Alternative Sex Workers Conference in Kolkata was sex workers who are pimps and brothel managers. These people, of course, are also sex workers because they work for the sex industry. But they were certainly not the 19-year-old young women who are controlled by the pimps and brothel managers to pimp them, to sell their bodies and stand on the streets for long hours waiting for clients. In fact, what happens to prostituted women and girls is that as they grow older, they are used up, and then the brothel system does not require them anymore, so they throw them out saying the bed in the brothel is too expensive, or force them to replace themselves with their daughters. And these women are only in their 20s or early 30s, they're disease ridden, they've been through multiple abortions, and they have dependency on drugs and alcohol. The trajectory for an average prostituted woman or girl is debt bondage, allowed to keep half of what she earns for a few years, and then begging on the sidewalk and death. And death in prostitution is very early, it's in the 40s. So very few of them become pimps and brothel managers. The few who do, in any case, are the ones who are brutalized to such an extreme end that they become desensitized and they think that we have survived, so we'll do what we can and never mind what happens to the other girls and women. The Trust Women's Conference has done two very important things. One is that it has embedded the issue of the trafficking of women in the women's movement, because the conference is discussing other issues like religious fundamentalism along with issues of women for sale, and that is a really important pioneering step. The other is that the Trust Women's Conference has looked at women in ways which are very current and topical, what is happening to women now and what are the issues around women, and put into the media the issue that there are so many numbers of women for sale. It has brought media attention to this, which people were not even noticing, and thinking that prostitution was inevitable, prostitution was normal. So they never even categorized it as women for sale, and suddenly now it's there, out there, up front. The third thing that actually I want to add to the two things that I spoke about, the third thing the Trust Women's Conference has done is that it has positioned prostitution as an industry which is controlled by the market. And the market is based on supply and demand. And supply is, of course, marginalized women and girls of color, of race, of ethnicity, from areas of conflict and disasters who are trafficked. But also what it has done is put the focus on the demand side, where they have squarely talked about the fact that put the business out of business. And how to do that is by focusing on the demand, by going after the traffickers, by going after the pimps, by going after those who buy sex and bonded labor.